Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome, Plexus Ambassadors of Hope. I'm so excited about tonight because it's not only our team call, but Brad is going to be sharing with us his secret to how he gets high PV and takes advantage of that 25% commission, not discount, 25% commission that comes when we get over 499 PV by the end of the month. So he's going to share that as well as some of his personal growth tips, as well as how he deals with rejection and things like that. So Brad, I'm going to go ahead and give it away to you and just let you take it from here. And yeah, go ahead. Tell us your secret.
Okay, well, I don't know that they're secrets because I'm learning, as I heard a Diamond ambassador in an interview say, we're failing forward, right?
All the time.
So figuring out it as we go. So for me, what's been huge in January was enrolling in that January Journey to Hawaii class. Just really challenged me to commit to solid working on this every day. So I kind of copied you, Kyla, and printed out my DMO activity sheet, or my income producing activity daily log. So the first thing that I kind of sit down and do that I think is super important is the 3-2-1 rule. And you guys have probably heard of it, but if not, I'll tell you. So it's reach out to 3 new people a day, follow up with 2 people, and then follow up with 1 team member, or in my case, I follow up with someone who's already bought the product for that one. So something that I've kind of been learning the past month through doing it is, you really just have to do it even when it's hard, because there's been a lot of days that there's that voice of doubt in the back of your head saying like, oh, don't do it, you're tired today, and you've been getting rejection, and you're going to annoy people. And so it's really important to push through that and do it anyway. It's a hard thing to do, but it's worthwhile. I've also found that when I do my DMO, it's really helpful to find like my place in my house, which is right here where I'm sitting in my rocking chair, and I have a little table with my computer, and I kind of get in the zone, and I can watch my like YouTube videos for the class and reach out to people, and I have my phone handy if I need to make a phone call or anything like that. And so it kind of gets me in the zone, and I just kind of sit down and commit to doing it for about an hour is what it takes. Another tip that I wrote down here is to just set realistic goals for yourself. The January Journey to Hawaii class for me, it requires 5 days of activity. And I've probably been a bad classmate because I've only been doing 4 days of activity and thankfully have not gotten kicked out of the course yet. But for me right now, just with my job and I'm still on my journey back to health. I'm so much better than I used to be, but I still have my days where I'm wiped out. And so just committing for me to do 4 days of activity a week is much more doable and realistic. So kind of the thought came to me that, I would rather do a little bit less consistently than to shoot for doing so much and give up altogether. Mm-hmm. So, you don't have to be an overachiever in this business, but you have to be consistent, right, Kyla?
Yes.
At least that's what I'm told, and it's working so far. So I also put on here, use a follow-up system, but don't be afraid to deviate a little bit. Something that I've been finding really important the past couple weeks is being able to discern who you need to bug and keep messaging and follow up with Plexus testimonies and get their attention, and who you need to kind of leave alone for a while and let them come to you again when they're ready. And take this advice with a grain of salt, because it's not something that I've heard from a lot of diamonds. I think the follow-up advice is wonderful. Like, I think in most cases, you need to be persistent, be kind, but be persistent and remind people. But what I have found is if you are really doing a good job posting on Facebook and being just very consistent with that, posting Plexus testimonies, posting your personal story on Facebook and being engaging on Facebook, those people that you've already told about Plexus are watching you now.
Mm-hmm.
And a cool thing I've found is those people, after I first tell them about Plexus, sometimes they start to like my Plexus posts and the stories that I post. And so I'm like, now I have their attention and they're actually reading what I'm putting on Facebook because they're curious now. So that's just something to keep in mind. I put on here, patience is important to perseverance. I think that kind of goes along with the follow-up system for me, is that, you're going to have to wait on people a lot. The past couple weeks, I've had people place orders, and I told them about Plexus 2 to 3 months ago, and they're finally deciding to do it. So it's kind of showing me that the wait is worth it. And 1 or 2 of those people I even just totally gave up on, to be honest with you, and decided, well, they're never going to try it, so I'm never going to bother them again. And then here they message me and they're like, how do I buy it? I'm like, all right, well, here we go. For me, something, and this is, I'm just being honest here, this is a challenge. You have to find ways to stay motivated. For me lately, that has been to watch a lot of YouTube videos, like Plexus YouTube videos from Diamonds, and motivational videos like Les Brown. He's awesome. To read encouraging books and that are about network marketing, like Millionaire by Halftime, or How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's been fantastic. But to also immerse yourself in books that don't have anything to do with Plexus that are encouraging to you. For me, I'm reading a Christian book right now on finding all of your identity in Christ, and I'm finding it extremely helpful to combat the insecurities that I have in this business and the things that I beat myself up about. So I think that book is just as important to me as a network marketing book that I'm reading. If not more important, because it applies to like every area of life too. And then the last thing I kind of wrote, and I do this as part of my DMO some, is reach out to people on Facebook without bringing up Plexus. Of course, be reaching out to people for the purpose of Plexus, but if your friends only ever think that you are starting a conversation with them because you want to talk about your business, then they're going to shut down a little bit. And I've also just found that it's been so cool to reconnect with old friends myself. Like I went and got lunch with a buddy today that I hadn't talked to in a year and a half. And it was just extremely encouraging. And I didn't, in the back of my head, I thought maybe I'll share Plexus with him, but in the course of the lunch conversation, I realized he is not the type of person who would jump on this business at all. But for me, it was just encouraging to rekindle some relationships. So, something to keep in mind. The more relational you are, the more doors that will open. And, maybe he's not a person for this business, but I never know if, he's going to have a family member who needs Plexus, or a friend who needs a financial opportunity like this. So, and then my last point that I want to make about this, I've also been kind of learning that, some people will ask me to send them information through email, which is awesome because they're still, reaching out about Plexus. But I'm finding that if I can get the person into a phone conversation with me or an in-person meeting, that they tend to be a lot more receptive to what I have to say because they can hear my story better and they can hear my passion behind it. And that I can, kind of give off this, there's no pressure to buy something you don't need, but as your friend, I'm asking you to look into it because I think it could really help you. And they receive that so much better than just, Brad's trying to make money off me and that kind of thing. So phone conversations, they're awesome. That's all I have to say about the DMO IPA business side of things.
Awesome. I love that. I feel like I took notes on what you said. I feel like the common thread through what you said was basically have a system and then just do it, whether you feel like it or not. Feed your soul, feed yourself, feed your belief, and then just do it whether you feel like it or not, right? Because you're saying you have you have a system, you have an expectation for yourself, you have a goal basically every day. I love how Sarah Robbins in the book Rock Your Network Marketing Business talks about how we cannot control, how many people jump on our team. We can't control how many people sign up as customers, but we can control our daily activity. We can control how many new people we reach out to, how many people we follow up with, and how many times we post on Facebook. So we can control those things. And I love how you're doing that, even on those days, like you said, that you don't feel like it, because you have good reason not to, Brad, with how your health is still not completely, your health is a journey, and it's a long journey because of what you're struggling with. You have a great excuse to not run with this business. You may not have a lot of extra energy yet, but I love how you're committed, and to do that DMO, or daily mode of operation, to have that goal and to just kind of do it whether you feel like it or not. You mentioned when we talked a little bit earlier, you talked a little bit or mentioned that you might share how you deal with rejection. I'm really curious, how do you deal with the flack you get, or the people that respond negatively?
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been quite the work in progress for me. I'll just tell you a little bit. My personality, I am such a people pleaser. Like, I have been my entire life. I've cared way too much about what people think about me. And because of that, have given people a lot of power over me in some ways. So this has been kind of tied into my health journey, because going through Lyme disease, especially last summer when things were at their worst, I dealt with a lot of self-esteem issues because I couldn't work. My social life was falling apart. I felt like a burden to my family. I wasn't the happy person that I usually am. And I couldn't do things like lead worship at my church anymore, and nursing had fallen by the wayside. And I kind of started to realize that I had put my identity in a lot of these things that I was able to do, and these relationships that I had. And God took me through this season where all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I literally can't do this stuff anymore. I didn't have the strength. And so had a little bit of an identity crisis. And I think it was about a month ago, I was having a really bad weekend. And, my health is so much better, but I still have moments where I fall into some depression. I think part of it is with Lyme disease, you kind of go through these like detox phases. And so when they hit me, they're really hard. But my dad came to me and said, Brad, maybe God is trying to take your identity out of all these things and help you know that you are completely enough in him without any of this other stuff.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, and that for me was just this moment of, oh my goodness, I have some work to do in that area. And so I started reading a book that was, kind of talks about your identity apart from your accomplishments and your performance, and finding your identity in Christ. And it's been so good for this Plexus business because, I've faced quite a bit of rejection the last couple weeks. And to be honest with you, it's hard. When you get a no after you were really bold and you put all this emotional energy into emailing someone and you're scared and you're really trying to push through it. So I'll give you an example that happened last night that I think is a really good example to highlight this whole rejection thing. I emailed an old friend from college, and I thought she would receive it pretty well because she's kind of a go-getter and likes creative ways to make money, and she's a creative individual. So I emailed her about the business opportunity of Plexus, and I was very invitational and not no pressure about the whole email. And I got a response back very shortly, and it was just super rude and very flippant and in my face, and it just surprised me. This person has never talked to me this way before.
Wow.
And I started to get this very visceral physiological stress response. My heart started pounding. I felt this anxiety attack coming on. and I was starting to shake, and it wasn't good because I was about to jump on a Plexus phone call with someone who was excited to hear about Plexus. And so I got up and I went to my mirror in my room, and I have my daily affirmations written out, and I just read a couple of them to myself, and I wanted to share a couple of them with you. One of them is, I am confident in who God made me, the skills he gave me, the mind he gave me, the personality he gave me, and the body he gave me to walk this earth. And I can't even tell you how much that just helped calm me down and like get me excited. Like, I didn't have time to self-loathe about the rejection I just got because I had to hop on a phone conversation with someone else and be excited about Plexus. So for me, these daily affirmations, it was just super important to like calm me down, say, listen, just because she rejected you doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're failing at this business. It's one rejection, and that's her negative opinion of network marketing coming up. So daily affirmations are huge as well. It's so biblical. If any of you have watched, Kyla, what's the name of it? It's that diamond documentary we had to watch in Elizabeth's class this week. Let me see, I have it written down here. It's not a diamond documentary, excuse me. It's a diamond interview, the Kelly Norman interview. Look it up on YouTube, Kelly Norman. She goes on.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yes. Did you watch it, Katie?
I did. And you want to know the truth. I actually watched it twice and sent it to a couple of people that I had been trying to get to join on the business side. And for me, and this isn't my call, so I'm going to try to keep it short. But it just touched me, I think, somewhere. And I feel almost like sometimes, just like you're talking about, and it's so amazing for me to hear your side of the story, and to remember that everybody is struggling with something, and that no matter how successful they look or how awesome they seem to be doing, everybody's struggling with something different. And it just brings it back down to like a close-knit family, and be like, we've all got kind of our arms around each other. It's like, listen, I'm struggling today too. So that really is what I needed to hear. And I was watching her documentary, and I can honestly say I teared up, and it was just like God was speaking to me, like, don't forget to bring me with you on this trip. It's not just about making money. It's not just about feeling better. It's about becoming a different person as well. And it's like a whole trip for me as well. And I'm just blown away. I was absolutely blown away by her. And I was so impressed, and it was really like what I needed this week.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, Katie. That's exactly how I felt about the video too. One thing that's been really cool to tell my friends, and they get excited when I talk about this, is to tell them, the thing I love most about Plexus, besides it helping my health so much, is how much personal development is happening in me because of it. It is addressing things in my life that I have not been able to address until now. And God is growing me into a stronger person because of this. And I just feel like it's preparation for great things to come, because, there was a quote that I wrote down. Art Williams is another motivational speaker, and in his video it's called Just Do It, he says, if you want to succeed, you're going to be controversial. If you don't want to be controversial, you're going to be average and ordinary. And that was just so what I needed to hear, because, being a people pleaser, I just want to conform and make everyone happy and have everyone like me. But what I'm realizing is there are people who are going to think that I'm nuts because I'm doing network marketing. And
absolutely,
they think that I've gone crazy. And I'm going to prove them wrong. And one day they're going to look at me when I'm a diamond and be like, gosh, he was right. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I think there is so much coming against us every day, just as people in this negative world. And so it's a constant battle to believe in yourself and, claim truths about who you are and who God made you. And, I wrote that down. Believe in yourself, because before Plexus, I have to be honest with you, I have spent most of my life not believing in myself. And
absolutely,
this is showing me like I have to believe in myself. I have a lot to offer the world, and I'm going to help a lot of people by doing this. And I'm going to lead others with me, which is really exciting. So yeah, I have to be a confident leader as well when that happens. So these affirmations and things are extremely important for me. So, yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say.
Awesome. Well, that has been really good. I love how we're doing this together as a team. I love that I can say this has been an encouragement to me, because I get so passionate about my Facebook posts, but even just like today, I felt like, oh my goodness, did I overshare? You know, and I'm like, oh no, what are people thinking about me today? Was I too bold? You know, and I just appreciate the encouragement. I appreciate that quote about that you read about we can either be, you know, that we're going to be controversial. You know, just that, it just gives you that oomph, you know, like that, okay, watch out world, here I come. You know, because I'll be honest, when I started Plexus, I was such a pushover. Like, you know, I would get rejections. I would sit down and cry, just ask my husband, you know, like sometimes, not all the time, but depending on how they were. But now I'm not going to say they don't bother me. I know I've come a long way. And I've said that if I hadn't earned a single red cent over the last year from the personal growth would still be worth it, the person I've become. So to hear the same thing from you, Brad, is encouraging. And I love your story. I love that God is not only blessing us physically and financially, but he's helping us become the people that he wants us to be. To me, that's just awesome.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? Thought? Any other thoughts?
I have one quick thought.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
You know, I totally understand the perspective of wanting everybody to like you and stuff, but, or me, when I'm thinking about this to myself. But I'm like, you know, not everybody liked Jesus Christ, and he was the most perfect person on the planet. If not everybody likes him, there is no way in the world that everyone's going to like me.
I love that.
You know, some people will connect and others just plain won't. And I was like, okay, if the most perfect person in the world couldn't connect with everybody, then how am I expected to connect with everybody? So it's okay that they don't connect.
That's really good.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Wonderful thought. Thank you for sharing.
Anybody else have any thoughts to throw in here? Okay, guys. Brad, thank you so much for sharing. I love how your secrets are simply a reiteration of basic training. You know, do your daily activities, reach out to new people, follow up with people, post on Facebook, and do it all again and again and again and again and again and again. I love how that's basically it. And then just feed yourself, personal growth. And I am excited to see what this next week brings to all of us, the blessings that come our way, and go get them. Plexus Ambassadors of Hope. Woohoo!